Welcome, Solar here. I hope you guys are doing well. I am here to do your new moon in Pisces Tarot Astrology Ascension Report. So I invite you guys to grab yourself a beverage because we might be here for a moment. I'm quite verbose, so for those of you who haven't hung with me before, I am a Virgo rising. I like to talk. I like to pull things apart. I like to really get into the information. So I don't know if it's going to be as long as last time. I don't think so. But still, I'm not a 15-minute report kind of person. Okay, so welcome if you're visiting for the first time. Hello, hello, hello. I invite you to stay if you are in alignment with my frequency. And that means that you actually like me. Don't stick around listening to people at this time of transition that are not in alignment with your frequency. It's really important to maintain a sense of your own energy and to possibly go higher and to listen to beings who assist you with that. Okay, so I always tell people I'm not for everyone. I'm not, and neither are you, and we shouldn't be. Really, we shouldn't be. So I welcome you, of course, to stay if you're vibing with me. And if you're not, then I wish you well, and I hope you find the people who help you to connect into your power. Okay? Welcome if you're returning. Welcome to my returning subscribers, my returning people who just like to hang out here. It's all good. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome if you're joining me from my other channel, Solar Speaks, or even from Daily Alchemy with Solar, or from SUBSTACK. Y'all are welcome here. Thank you for all of your support. I am super excited because I am recording this on the day before the new moon. It's the 9th of March, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday the 10th of March, I have my first Tarot Astrology Q&A, and it's sold out. And I felt like a fucking rock star this morning when I got the message, your event has sold out, and I was just like, wow. Feel like, like I've sold out the Staples Center or something, even though it's like only 15 slots. So thank you. I mean, how many times do you get to say my event sold out? So I'm kind of like, I'm milking it right now. I'm feeling myself. No, I'm joking. I am kind of, but I should. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. I look so forward to meeting a lot of you face to face and diving into your cosmological truth. This is going to be fun. So there will be plenty of opportunities for those of you who couldn't make it this time around or you weren't aware. I'm going to try to make this a monthly thing. Next month, though, I probably will be focusing on Mars energies in your chart, so it will be a little bit more specialized, but depending on how tomorrow goes, and we'll see, maybe the monthly just random placements in your chart might become a regular thing if there's enough demand, because I've had a few people email me wanting spots, but it being full, so maybe I will make that possibility a regular too. So yes, those are all the announcements, I think. Oh, I posted on the community board, but I did just do a new moon in Pisces collaborative reading again with Demi Pietchell of the Starfire Codes. For those of you who are on SUBSTACK, and if you're not on SUBSTACK and you just want to dive into what Demi and I had to say about the energies, and please do make sure to check out the link in the on the community board. And if I remember, I'm going to post it also in the description box below, as well as in the comments. Okay? I think those are all the announcements for now. Okay? So for always to connect with my work, I just listed everything, but let me put it in list form without all of the added conversation. You can find me on Solar Speaks, where I do channeled messages quite regularly. I've been taking a bit of a break, but I'm feeling the rhythm and the flow build up a little bit more to my being there. I was quite active on that account this past week. Solar Speaks, Solar Rises, which is this channel, Daily Alchemy with Solar, where I have been selectively posting my Daily Alchemy articles in audio format read by me on that channel. I won't be doing that for a very long time. I'm doing it kind of in this energy window where my guides were telling me it was important to make that information more widely available. So But I will continue to, even if I slow down over there, I still will continue to bring forth audio messages, and we'll see how that channel evolves also. If you'd like to find me on Substack, it is either dailyalkhemy.substack.com or substack.com/@Solara. Okay, so let's get into this, because this new moon, man, it's feeling very magical. Okay, so it's happening at 9 o'clock in the morning, GMT. I know that my friends in the USA, I believe your time is changing this weekend. So you're going back in time. No, you're going forward in time. I always get it mixed up. I think you leap forward in the spring, right? Which brings you into springtime hours, more light in your day. It's not happening for us here in the UK for another 3 weeks. I think we're the last weekend in March. But it's very interesting that this is occurring in this new moon phase for you guys. So yes, let's get into it. Quick announcement before I do that. For those of you who don't know how I work, I do something called tarot astrology. I am not a formal astrologer or a professional astrologer. I don't go by those titles. I don't ascribe to regular astrological modes of schooling, I guess you could say. I learned astrology through tarot and through my guides showing me and reactivating me into the inner wisdom that I already held around the astrological arts. So as such, my tarot astrology reports center around looking at the themes and the energies of the signs, and some of them are very similar to what it is that you know in regular, astrology, but some of the things are based upon the information I've channeled about how these planets and zodiac signs are assisting in ascension, and they're here evolving also alongside with us. So I use tarot, astrology, numerology, and channeled messages to share the energies around ascension. So we have our third new moon of the year, I believe. We had a new moon in Capricorn. One second, let me just pull up the other chart. Let me be 100% accurate here. We had a new moon in Capricorn, you're right, on the 11th. So this is the third new moon of the year. We had the new moon in Capricorn on January the 11th, the new moon in Aquarius on February the 9th, and now we have the new moon in Pisces happening on March the 10th. And each of these new moons have occurred at 20 degrees in the sign that the moon was occupying at the time. So in January, the new moon in Capricorn occurred at 20 degrees. In February, the new moon in Aquarius occurred at 20 degrees. And tomorrow's new moon in Pisces is occurring at 20 degrees. So let's look into the significance of the number 20. The number 20, astrologically speaking, is connected to Scorpio energy. It's a Scorpio degree. In terms of tarot, the number 20 connects us to the Judgment card, which is also a Scorpio energy, more connected with the Plutonian aspects of Scorpio. The Tower connects Scorpio to Mars, and the Judgment connects Scorpio to Pluto. And then Death card is just pure Scorpionic energy, okay? So the 20 also, if you break it down numerologically, breaks down to 2. Right? So that in the tarot is the High Priestess. Astrologically speaking, that number is a degree of Taurus, which is Scorpio's sister. And if you go a step further, it's also connected to the Justice card, because the Justice card is the number 11 major arcana card, and that is Libran energy, right? So then if you break down the 2 and the 0, you've got the High Priestess and you've got the Fool. So this is showing me that there's something through this energy of the new moon in Pisces that is occurring for something to be unveiled. And whatever is going to be unveiled is something that you have been tuning into on a personal and a collective level for a while, and I feel like things are about to begin to materialize. The Fool is the beginning of a brand new, grand cycle. Okay, so there's some kind of hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge that will no longer be hidden. This new moon in Pisces will facilitate the unveiling of that. Okay, now the fact that we have that connection to the Taurus energy also tells me that what is going to be unveiled has something to do with our personal resources. Now, your Taurus energy is connected to your energy field, or what your biofield, or also what is called your Taurus energy field. It's spelled differently than the sign, but it's called your Taurus energy field. And within your energy field, you actually have access to different gates and portals cosmologically that allow for you to travel, right? And allow for you to also pull in the resources you need at any given time in accordance with who you are and what it is you hold cosmologically in your own energetic, you could call it your energetic blueprint, energetic signature. Okay, so some people are very cosmologically wealthy and some aren't. And your cosmological wealth is based upon your true frequency. And your true frequency is established as you align with the principles of universal laws that allow for everything in creation to stay in harmony and balance. So beings with low cosmological resources tend to be the ones who, at every turn, they get farther away from source because they make very selfish decisions based upon their own selfish pursuits, as opposed to making decisions that would not only put them in true harmony with who they are and source, but also true harmony in the cosmos. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And so I will often say that cosmologically speaking, there are people who, their cosmological wealth is like they're fucking billionaires, cosmologically speaking, and they're living in the Matrix, homeless. The Matrix was an inversion. Okay, and that's an important word for this also, because the Piscean energy is connected to the Hanged One and the High Priestess also, right? So the inversion through Pisces, through the Sun in Pisces, every year has an opportunity to flip. But because we've been in ascension, the energies were available for you to flip the inversion in your own life every year. But because we're in an ascension where the inversion collectively is being flipped, we're entering into a window where we've heard a lot about how the world is going to be so different in 2025. Well, this new moon in Pisces window and the energies that are supporting not only the new moon, but every moon that we've had this year so far, including the most recent 3/3 portal, are assisting in the flipping of that inversion. And so when you think about the 20 and the 2 and the 0, the High Priestess full energy I brought up before, you could kind of think about, well, what is being unveiled? Well, the inversion could be. And what do I mean when I say the inversion, and what has that got to do with the Hanged Man or the Hanged One? The Hanged One card in the tarot speaks about when somebody either gets stuck based upon the rebalancing of scales because they're out of order. It's a card that follows justice. Or they liberate themselves because they already had put themselves in the position of the Hanged One. And putting yourself in the position of the Hanged One is choosing to not use your eyes, your physical eyes, to see externally and allow the external picture to dictate to you your truth. To be in the Hanged One position means that you go within and you use your internal eyes to discern the material picture, to find out that the material picture is actually lagging in time, and it's a reflection of what is happening spiritually. And more importantly, if you really go within, then you begin to find out who you are cosmologically, and you begin to realize that everything in the Matrix was designed to talk you out of that truth, to keep you out of harmony with self, in order that that would promote you staying out of harmony with others, and it would therefore produce war within, war with other beings, and this grand energy of war that has sustained the grids that kept the false matrix alive. Okay, so the false grids that kept the false matrix alive needed our fear, needed our lower vibrational energies, needed us out of our true frequency in order to harvest our pain. Okay, and there is an end to the sacrifice templates. The false matrix was based upon sacrifice templates, self-sacrifice and sacrifice. And to that end, it created a bullying culture, a bullying and a policing culture, where some beings felt that they had the right to be in authority and in control over other beings' realities. And those other beings who had very little autonomy and authority over their truth were the ones who became victimized by these systems and institutions that promoted these false matrix agendas. Now, the thing about it is that we all have free will. It's a divine gift. And so the matrix knew how to get you to turn over your free will to be victimized. And that occurs a lot through both the Piscean energy and the Leo energy, because the programs of the matrix were designed to steal your innocence and therefore get you to direct your own will towards building things outside of yourself that furthered those agendas. So everything was based upon that. The education system, your career pursuits, even romance, relationships, family structures were all based upon these programs that were with all of these toxic and dysfunctional dynamics and behaviors and routines, where we were constantly working against self and at war with self, because we were taught to forever pursue this dangling carrot, for some just to survive, and for others, to prove themselves, and it was all, it doesn't matter if the dangling carrot took you to becoming a millionaire or whether the dangling carrot had you struggling month to month. It doesn't matter. It's the same energy. Everyone was in a box or a cage. It's just what box or cage were you in. Everyone was sacrificing their truth unknowingly. And when we sacrifice who we are and our power, we move ourselves farther away from who we are cosmologically, and we therefore move ourselves farther away out of true connection with Source. And everything in the matrix, in its systems and institutions and traditions, were designed to take you away from yourself and Source. And religion, of course, was another big way that they implemented this. So it feels like through this new moon in Pisces, the inversion is about to start being flipped materially. And this is going to have to do also with the New Earth financial system, because we're dealing with Taurus and Scorpio energy underpinning this new moon. And Taurus and Scorpio are the signs that deal with resources. Taurus with your personal resources, what you have, your cosmological wealth, and Scorpio, how you then begin to distribute and grow that with others. And also the contracts you get involved in that help you to grow or deplete that, which is why Scorpio energy traditionally is connected also to marriage. Okay, so I'm not going to go into marriage right now. Anyway, Pisces as an energy. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, on the zodiac wheel. It is the sign that rules over the 12th house. It is the house where, it is the house of our enslavement, and it is the house of our liberation, because it holds both polar energies. The Piscean energy can liberate you into your sovereignty, which is Aries, but the Piscean energy is also full of hidden enemies that are there lurking in disguises that are designed to try to pull you back into the same cycle and keep you from ascending into your Aries energy, which is your I am truth, because everyone's Aries energy is their first house, because that's what Aries rules over collectively. So your Aries energy from a collective standpoint is your first house. It's where you get your sovereignty back. It's where you reconnect with source and your divine identity. The Matrix had us taking on a lot of false personas in order to be accepted, or in order to do what it was we had to do in order to survive. And when you take on a false persona, when you move away from who you truly are, when you forget who you truly are, when you limit your own understanding about your own power and agency and who you are cosmologically, you take on a persona, you put on a mask. And we did it unconsciously, but on an energetic level, that's what we were doing. We were rejecting our truth at every turn in order to survive. Okay, so the Piscean energy helps you to break out of the minor cycles that keep you out of your sovereignty and power and truth, and it also helps you to break out of grand cycles that have imprisoned you. Okay, but that is for as long as you are able to connect with Pisces' sister energy, which is Virgo. And Virgo allows for you to be radically honest with yourself. And so the full moon 2 weeks ago was taking you on a journey to show you areas where you needed to face up to hidden energies, where you are a self-saboteur, or you open yourself up to being sabotaged. And it was very specific. This full moon in Virgo was really focusing again on our rhythms and our health and our habits, and whether they promote the truth of who we are, or whether they still promote those old matrix programs. And so with this new moon in Pisces, we have this opportunity for everything to be transformed through this window of time, because we're dealing with heavy Scorpio energy, and we're dealing with Pluto energy, which connects us to rebirth. It connects us to the divine feminine energy of destruction for the purpose of rebuilding. Okay, so that's what we've been dealing with from a frequential level through every new moon of 2024. We've been dealing with this tearing down to rebuild, and in the midst of all of that, of course, Pluto entered Aquarius. So we have that extra energy of destruction and rebirth for the purpose of helping us to climb back into our authentic truth. Aquarius allows us to live before others authentically as we are, cosmologically. Okay, it's so much deeper than who you are as a human. Some of y'all aren't even human. Okay, alrighty. So let me think. So the Pisces energy around the sun and the moon tomorrow is, like I said, the Hangman and the High Priestess. In terms of the minor arcana energies that we're dealing with, that would be both the 9 and the 10 of Cups, because the 20 degree is kind of the window into the 10 of Cups. So we're still dealing with a little bit of, lingering 9 of Cups energy. So what is this new moon helping us to do, especially in our day-to-day, in how it's going to affect our day-to-day moving forward, and how it's been challenging us as we've been moving towards this energy? Well, it's been showing us how to be autonomous in the name of being happy. We were programmed to make so many decisions in the matrix, the false matrix, in order to survive. In order to fit in order to be loved. It was very transactional. It was very sacrificial. And all of that is being put to an end. And the reason those things are ending is because the divine feminine wisdom, which is the energy through which this planet was originally born, has now returned. And the divine feminine energy, the divine feminine wisdom that has returned to the planet, wants us all reconnecting with our electromagnetic truth. And the truth of the matter is, when you are living in alignment with who you actually are, and you're not making concessions in order to fit in or make other beings happy and sacrificing your truth, everything that you need and desire begins to be magnetized towards you. The false matrix created these programs and mindsets and behaviors and traditions that made us feel and think that in order to succeed in life, we'd always need someone else. And when you are in need of something outside of you or someone outside of you, you are not in a position to properly love unconditionally, because you are loving a person because of what they're able to give to you. And that's not what love is about. Love is based on loving someone for who they are. But the matrix, wounded us as children, perpetually kept us in arrested emotional developmental states in order to continue to harness and harvest off of our childhood woundedness. That's what the matrix was based upon. It was built upon childhood woundedness, which is why the Leo and the Pisces energy work very closely in the liberating us out of the cycles that kept us stuck in childhood wounding, and therefore easily sacrificing ourselves for love, for attention, for promotions, for friendships, for family. There were so many ways we were put in positions where we had to sacrifice who we were in order to get by, in order to stay connected, in order to climb in our careers, and those templates are coming to an end. They have come to an end. But the only way to materialize that truth in your life is by living it out. So this new moon in Pisces has been challenging us all and will continue to challenge us to see where are we still trying to make concessions in our power based upon thinking that we need something outside of ourselves to the point that we're willing to sacrifice something of our own truth in order to get it. So an example of this is staying in a relationship past expiration, staying in a job past when it's no longer making you happy or it never made you happy. All of these energies are things that we have to confront. I'm not saying go and leave your job tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying at all. You don't do that until you become stable in your own truth, and you're not going to succumb to fear and take yourself lower. But the question of where am I sacrificing my power, my health, my joy, my love to do things or to be with people or to pursue relationships or communication in order to get by or in order to advance? Because the truth of the matter is I'm a fucking powerful being, and when I am electromagnetically aligned, I call in everything I want. I call in the experiences I desire to have based upon my ability to hold my frequency. And you hold your frequency by being true to self. You hold your frequency by entertaining thoughts and feelings only that align with who you are, and not the lies and the projections and the deflections that other beings and false matrix agendas need you to succumb to in order to fit in, or in order to serve their false agendas, or in order to make them feel better than you. Whatever the narrative is, there's so many of them. There's so many ways we're constantly pushed out of our truth in order to appease something outside of us or someone, and we're not here to do that. Every time we do that, it is, energetically speaking, a pronouncement of our own self-rejection, a pronouncement of our own self-betrayal. And when we self-reject and self-betray, what we are ultimately doing is pushing ourselves out of alignment with our truth, and therefore away from our true frequency. And when we're not in our true frequency, we don't call in things and experiences that we actually want. We call in truths and we call in experiences that mirror back our own self-deception. And that was all facilitated by this age of Pisces energy, right? The self-sacrifice, narcissistic templates where we were taught things like turn the other cheek and all that other shit. And the truth of the matter is we're not here to war with one another, but we are here to protect what should be protected. Children should be protected. Your inner child should be protected. Your resources that belong to you should be protected. Okay, so this new moon in Pisces is really bringing judgment through this 20-degree energy, judgment on those energies that want to keep us still tied to any kind of sacrificial templates, narratives, and schemes. And it will begin within. Where are you doing it to yourself? That's the Nine of Cups energy. Nine of Cups is all about those conversations and that you got to have with yourself, because you don't progress forward past a certain point until you have those conversations. And the nines in the tarot are connected to the Hermit and the Virgo. It's all about those journeys that you must take alone, because they're internal, or they're soul journeys, like birth and death. Nobody can come with you, right? Nobody can get you out of these cycles but you. We have a lot of help planetarily speaking. We have a lot of help, but it's nothing that just because collectively it's there, it's going to happen. No, you have to be committed to self, committed to your truth. That's what recovers your frequency and pushes you out of these cycles and this, these matrix spells once and for all. But you're getting a lot of help through this new moon in Pisces. Now, the Piscean gateway that leads into Aries is also where we return to innocence and reconnect to love, real love, not the false imitation, imposter energies that the Matrix had us believe were love. Pisces energy, Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. And Jupiter is a planet of faith, and Neptune is a planet of hope. And when you take those planets and you allow them to work together and rule over a sign like Pisces, they take you into the gateway of love. And I was sharing this on my channel, Solara Speaks. That's what the First Corinthians chapter, love chapter, is actually about. And the final verse says, "And now abide these three, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." It's talking about the Piscean energy and the Piscean gateway. Ultimately, you cannot return to love, which is in its nature unconditional, which is in its nature who you are. You are love. You are a God particle. You are a reflection and extension of true source light and energy. So, and true source darkness and energy. You are the all. So if you are love, then the gateway that takes you back to love is actually returning you home to yourself. And when you return home to yourself, when you return home to your innocence, then everything that is in alignment with who you are divinely, that is rightfully yours, including your divine contracts and resources, are able to come towards you now. You don't have to chase. You just have to be. That's how it always was. You were not designed to chase. When you chase, you put yourself out of your electromagnetic truth, because you are sending a message out to the universe that you're not powerful enough in your own frequency to just call that shit in. So I got to go after it, right? That's when your feminine and masculine energy are out of balance. And the reason why we were taught to chase and grind was because we were lacking the divine feminine wisdom on the planet that taught us how to honor seasons, cycles, and our own magnetism. So we were taught to chase and strive, which took us further out of our balance and out of our frequency, and also manifested things in our lives like sickness, disease, and death. Because the truth of the matter is, you were not sent here to die that way. You weren't sent here to die at all. You weren't sent here to suffer. You weren't sent here to be sick. Sickness is a consequence for us living out of true alignment, and therefore not honoring our vessels and not actually knowing how, because everything in the matrix was geared towards killing you slowly without you being able to see. You were constantly being killed, and the invisible hands that were handing you the poison acted as if they were helping you to move forward and succeed. And you can take that as it resonates, because some of those beings were sleeping in your bed with you. Some of those beings you called mom and dad. Some of them were siblings, some of them were friends, and on a grander scale, they were all the corporations, systems, and institutions that were there supposedly to protect you, when really all they were doing was siphoning you, keeping you out of your cosmological truth, and killing you every day without your knowing. Whew. I'm going to take a sip of my tea after all of that. Let's have a bit of a break, because that was a lot. So what am I drinking? I'm drinking a blood and lymphatic cleansing mix, for those of you who are interested in herbs. I am a naturopathic chef and also trained in nutritional therapy and Western herbalism. And so I concocted this brew for myself. So in here is red clover, cleavers, and what was the third thing I put in here? I forget now. But anyway, look after your cleanse your blood, cleanse your lymph system, look after your organs of detoxification, because that's what next full moon is actually about. It's about the elimination of parasitic, toxic energies, toxins on a physical level, material level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. That's what the full moon in Libra, that's going to be an eclipse, is about. That's coming up in, is it coming up in 2 weeks? Yeah, it's coming up in 2 weeks. So it's a good time, especially since the full moon in Virgo window and since we're moving into spring, to look after all of the detoxification and elimination processes in your own body. Okay, so let's get back into the chart. Mercury, 0 degrees Aries. So we've got a portal, 0 degree portal activated through this new moon, and it's activated through the Aries energy. And of course the North Node is chilling in Aries, right? Chiron's also in Aries, and the North Node and Chiron are still together at that 17 degree point. But we got Mercury entering into Aries just as we enter this new moon in Pisces, which is showing us a few things. This is the foreshadowing of the return of your sovereignty. It's a foreshadowing. Mercury will always speak of what is ahead when it's moving forward, and it will take you through what you should have learned through the previous cycles when it's retrograding. Mercury is how spirit speaks to us. It's how we connect to divine and cosmological information, that when we know how to properly discern it, Virgo energy, Gemini, Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo. In Gemini, it helps us to access the breadth and the width and the depth and the height of all cosmological information that is there for us to connect with in order to rise. And through Virgo, it helps us to discern and pick what it is that is relevant for us on an individual level in order to be in individual alignment. Okay, so Mercury will always speak about the provision of information, the discernment of truth, and the utilizing of that wisdom and that knowledge in order to get you in alignment and to help you to push forward. And so with this Mercury entering at 0 degrees of Aries through this new moon energy, it's a 0 degree portal, so it's very potent. It's speaking of very potent Aries energy. And Aries, as I was saying to you before, is connected to the first house collectively, and the first house is where is very connected to your divine identity, your I am truth. So Mercury is here speaking to us, calling us deeper into that place where we refuse to compromise, we refuse to sacrifice if it means that we have to lose any part of what it is that keeps us in harmony with self on every level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, materially. So Mercury is like a, you know, that I'm seeing that emoji, you know, the talking head with the, you know, the I've got something to say energy. Mercury is spitting this to us loudly through this new moon. It is not a time to betray yourself. It is not a time to reject your own intuitive guidance. It is not a time to be doing things that take you out of harmony or balance with self. It is not a time to be aligning with energies or beings that will do that to you also. It is not a time to sacrifice yourself. It is a time to be selfish as fuck. If that's what they love to use that selfish energy, that selfish word in the matrix to guilt you also out of your power. Because a lot of the time, the ones who are throwing around that selfish word are the bullies who want you to think you're selfish in order that you shrink back and you do what it is that they want you to do so you feel guilty. And I have two choice words to say to behaviors, energies, narratives, traditions that promote that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. That's Aries energy. Aries don't play. Aries knows who the fuck it is. Aries helps us to know who the fuck we are. And Aries helps us to fight stubbornly to maintain that truth. So that's what Mercury's doing. Mercury's entering into Aries at 0 degrees. It's opening a window for you to not budge in your power. Refuse to budge. To be stubborn as fuck. To fight if you have to. To speak those words that are going to disturb other people's comfort because they want to pull you out of your harmony in order to regulate themselves instead of learning how to regulate themselves from within. There's been a lot of that energy going on this week. I wrote about it on my other channel, with beings being very, presumptuous and narcissistic, thinking that when they come on someone else's channel, they have the right to tell you how to be in order to appease what it is they need from you. That's not how it works. We're in a frequency game now. We go where we are vibing with other beings, and in that we attract everything we need. We don't have to change people. The age of Pisces constantly had us changing ourselves and changing others, and that's what created the energy harvesting templates, because of those weak beings who don't know what it is to regulate their own frequency, regulate their own emotion, eating off of especially empathic and emotionally intelligent people, stealing our emotional energy by victimizing and using our kindness to put us in states of guilt and shame so that we would acquiesce and do what it was they needed to do to regulate themselves falsely off of our pain. Fuck you, fuck that. We're not doing it anymore. That's the Aries energy. Fuck a bunch of that. You did not come here to sacrifice yourself. And because we're dealing with the energies of the inversion being flipped, that behavior is going to become so fucking transparent now. Those beings who don't know how to control their own frequency, how to regulate their own frequency or regulate their own emotions without siphoning off of other beings, it's going to become so clear, and watch them begin to shrivel up in what's the word? I see it. It's like in self-consciousness when you take back your power, especially for those of you who've had dynamics where they've been eating off of your confidence and your power and your light in order to appear more superior than you for a specific time period, for a period of time. Watch them shrink. Watch them even now when you come into their energy. If you have decided to stand in your truth, watch the fear in their eyes. Watch the shame in their eyes. It's there. It's palpable. Because people like that are not able to sustain a sense of self-empowerment, so they have to disempower others to feel big. And when you no longer allow them to do that to you, they have nothing. And they begin to shrink and they begin to become self-conscious in your company. Everything that they used to make you feel, they start to feel it. And you as an empath, because most of you who were the ones being siphoned off of the most in those bullying dynamics, are highly empathic, intuitive, emotionally connected. And that doesn't mean that these beings don't have the ability to be that, but they chose not to. And every time they chose not to, they got farther away from access to their emotional wisdom, which is very much has to do with divine alignment. Your frequency is sent out through your emotional field. People who are emotionally intelligent tend to be more divinely resourceful, which is why they liked in the false matrix to feed off of you. And when you start to take back that energy, then what you begin to see are those who obviously they never had any emotional intelligence, and instead of healing themselves and tapping in and reconnecting with their own ability to produce that again, they were hell-bent on making you small. And now who's going to be small? And that's not me gloating, that's me being fucking real, because I've already seen it happening. So, Mercury is the Magician card. Aries, of course, is the Emperor, but also the Fool. The 0 degree energy is also connected to the Fool. The first decan of Aries is the Two of Wands. This is the setting off of a brand new reality in your day-to-day, based upon your ability to hold your frequency. Because the Two of Wands in the tarot, the energy that opens up the minor arcana is the Wands energy. The first card is the Ace of Wands. So the 0 degrees is actually connected to the Ace of Wands energy also. But if you're looking at it from the decan standpoint, the 0 to 10 degrees of Aries is the Two of Wands. So you got kind of the Ace and the Two of Wands working here. That is the opening card of energy moving. It begins with the Wands. It moves then to the Swords, which is your mental body. So the Wands is connected to spirit, etheric energy. The Swords is the next, connected to your mental energy, your mental body. The Cups is connected to your emotional body. Pentacles is to do with your material, reality and physical body. And this is how you see how energy is born, how as above becomes below. It comes through your mental and emotional bodies. And the emotional body is what you are feeling emotionally is what gives charge to what you create, which is why these beings wanted to constantly siphon you and keep you in lower emotional states. But not for nothing, what is the sign that has to do with with being emotionally wise and knowing how to be a master of your own emotions too? It's Pisces. It's Pisces. It's Pisces as a mutable energy, which is connected to the integration process, but it's Pisces as the final zodiac sign that holds the wisdom of all the previous 11 signs. It's Pisces as the oldest of the water signs. Pisces is the oldest and the youngest all at the same time. It's where Alpha and Omega, because through the Aries you reconnect to Alpha, and it's through an Omega gateway in Pisces, but Pisces in and of itself holds both. It holds both. It holds both the beginning and the end because of that Alpha Omega gateway that reconnects it to Aries. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so Pisces is the entering of a cycle and the closing of a cycle. So in your day-to-day life, through this new moon in Pisces, Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, your passion, your life force is coming back. All of the ways you were siphoned and you therefore were not able to pursue what it was you were passionate about, as well as your creative flow, because as the divine feminine wisdom begins to be more materialized on the planet through you and your decisions to honor your own internal seasons and cycles, you reconnect with your passion, you reconnect with your creativity, you reconnect with your own flow. And that's what opens the door for new exciting situations, relationships, projects to begin to come towards you now. I'm also hearing that the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, it's the return of your magnetism. So be aware of what it is that you are choosing to believe about yourself and the emotional charge you're adding to those thoughts, because that's what you're going to be calling in a lot stronger now. Because it's time for you to get back your mastery over self, your ability to be a conscious creator. It's time for you to remember and to exercise that. So there's also, through this new moon, light body activations that are coming through to assist you in the remembrance of how you actually function. A lot of stuff going on again with Piscean energy. You always have this this connection to in dream time, a lot of dreaming energy. Pay attention to your dreams right now, because you might be noticing full circle energies. You might be noticing, here's something. You might be noticing that energies that used to haunt you in your dream time, whether they haunted you in real time, like they scared you, or because you knew that they were these bullying energies in real time and they'd be all up in your dreams, you might notice that those energies are returning, but they're returning in different ways. They're returning in ways where in your dream you feel like you have autonomy, you have authority. Okay, and that's because it's showing you that their reign of terror over you energetically is over. It's over for as long as you want it to be. Yes? Because I'm going to say it again. Ain't nobody more powerful than you over your own energy. They wanted you thinking that they had more power over you. And when you succumb to that, you open yourself up to be harvested by them. The minute you begin to really grab a hold of the truth that there's nothing more powerful than you over your own energy and your own reality, that's the minute you start to get free, truly free. That's the minute where you start to know how to deal with the cracks and the holes within your own emotional and mental reality that actually reconnect to those energy harvesting regimes, beings, programs, systems, whatever. And then you can begin to do the work internally. You can begin to clear out those lies, because they're all lies. Anything that doesn't support who you are divinely in your power is a lie. It's a lie. And you need to divest yourself fully of that lie. Divest yourself of any thoughts that align with that lie. When those thoughts want to come out, you need to tell them to go fuck themselves. You know who you are. That's what you need to be doing in order to grab a hold of your truth, of your divine identity, your Aries energy, who you truly are, behind or beyond the veil, your cosmological truth. Now, Venus and Mars are both in Aquarius still. Was it before? I forget now. I think they had that conjunction before the last full moon. I believe so. No, actually yes, I believe so. I don't remember now. I know it happened at 7 degrees, but Venus is closing out her time in Aquarius. And Mars is just entering into the third decan. So the third decan of Aquarius is the Seven of Swords, and all of a sudden, the reading I did last night on Solar Speaks, where that card came out, is actually making more sense. The Seven of Swords is the energy that helps you to be strategic in how you defend your right to be who you are. And the Seven of Swords allows you to employ the energy that has tried to take you under. So in other words, there are beings who wanted you not being yourself. This is where you get to put on a mask in front of them because they don't deserve your truth. Okay, this is where you begin to utilize the power of the wisdom of what you know about what is going on, and the power and the wisdom of what you know about who you are to be strategic in the defending of it. Okay, Venus in Aquarius at this particular spot, also the 28-degree energy, it is connected to Cancer. Astrologically speaking, it's a Cancer degree. So this speaks about the protection of the new traditions that are forming through you and by you in the new earth, based upon the return of your divine feminine wisdom and you implementing that in your life. This is about your protecting love. And when I say protecting love, I'm talking about who you are. I'm talking about those beings who are truly divinely aligned with you in love. Protecting that and doing what it is you have to do in order to, for people, and this is very specifically when it has to do with connecting with beings who still want to be in these power games to disempower you. It's like, no, you've got to fool the fool who thinks they're fooling you. That's what you got to do. In other words, you don't give them your energy. If they want to believe something about you, then this is not the time to fight it anymore. Let them believe it so you can have your peace. Let them believe it so they don't have access to your truth. Let them believe it so they don't have access to the beauty that's coming forth for you. Let them believe that you are low on the rungs so that they don't have access to what it is that's about to come forth to you. This is the energy of also using deception smartly. And I spoke about this at the close of the reading I did on Solar Speaks last night. Deception is an energy. It's not a moral, something that we need to have a moral ground on. It's part of your shadow energy that you need to implement for your own protection. So sometimes when beings are dishonest with you and they live in deception, sometimes you need to be deceptive or be, what's the other word I'm thinking about? Be secretive about what it is you're actually holding. They're showing me like when you're playing poker. It's about having a poker face right now. Letting people believe the old story about you while knowing that that's not true about yourself. Okay? And you're doing that for the sake of love, and you're doing that for the sake of fighting strategically. And you're fighting strategically for your power, for the truth of your frequency, for your right to be who you are, and more importantly, for all that is coming forth as a result of that. That's what I'm getting with the Venus and Mars energy, both expressing themselves through the Seven of Swords. And with Mars, it's also expressing itself through the Six of Swords, which is where you get the defending of your right to move into your power and your true frequency. Okay, so these are the way Venus and Mars are assisting you in the day-to-day, energies, the day-to-day ways you still have to interact with beings who insist on being in deception and want to pull you down in there with them. No, you be smart as fuck. You be strategic as fuck in how you deal with them, and you do whatever you have to do to keep your peace without harming yourself and harming them too. But the truth of the matter is they're already harming themselves. So what you're doing is you're bringing judgment on them in doing this. And the way you're bringing judgment on them is that when beings are living in deception and they want to believe lies about you, then they are consenting to staying blind. And for as long as you're blind, you can't rise. And if you can't rise into your truth, you stay stuck in the matrix loops. So what you're doing is you're not giving them anymore the ability to, you're not telling them your truth. They've lost access to that. That's part of your wisdom. That's part of your pearls. So if if they've been hell-bent on believing lies, whether they're about you or just in life in general, it's not time to fight it anymore. Just be like, okay, yeah, true, fine, if that's what you believe. It's not, in other words, you're not giving your emotional energy anymore to these games. You're not fighting, you're not arguing, you're just nodding and saying, okay, if that's what you say, if that's how you roll, if that's what your reality is, it's fine with me. Because it is, for one thing, but it's also because there's no more fighting, no more giving your emotional energy. Your emotional energy is your wealth. It's what creates your material reality. You need that shit for yourself. I hope I'm making sense here, okay? So Jupiter is in Taurus at 12 degrees. And that 12-degree energy is the Hanged Man, connected to the Hanged Man card in the tarot. But the 12 is also a Piscean degree, astrologically. So Jupiter, again, is speaking through the Taurus energy, which we were already getting with the 2 frequency of the Sun and the Moon in Pisces at 20. Jupiter is the planet that puts things in order. After Saturn makes its decree, Jupiter comes and says, okay, this is what you're afforded now based upon what lesson that you've graduated from or what lesson you're being put back into. Jupiter opens the gate for either your expansion and access to your divine resources or another trip around the mulberry bush in the matrix cycle because you still don't know who the fuck you are. So Jupiter at 12 degrees is also speaking about an end to the shenanigans of having our resources hacked into and stolen and siphoned, therefore not applying the truth, the cosmological and universal truth behind what law and order is supposed to do and to be. The Matrix found loopholes, created wormholes, found all kinds of ways to re-divert karmic justice, which is why they created the child sacrifice template to put as a form of karmic transference. So they didn't have to take responsibility and there could be a false sense of balance within their system, where some were very, very rich and the majority that they were putting their karmic damage on in order to do that were struggling and suffering. Jupiter is saying there's no more of those sacrifice templates. Any of you who've read the Bible, and I'm not a Christian, but I do believe the Bible shows you a lot about astrology beyond the literal translation of what the words are saying. If any of you have read the Bible, you will know that the New Testament, when Jesus appeared, it was all about putting an end to the old sacrifice templates. That's what your Christed energy, risen in you, allows for. There will be no more sacrifice. There will be no more. There will be no more. Unless you want to live in deception. Unless these beings want to live in deception because they enjoy their suffering. But for those of you who are choosing to rise and to be who you are unabashedly in alignment with your cosmological truth, and therefore you're able to access that frequency here on earth as it was always written in the stars, there will be no more sacrificing of you. And more importantly, those sacrifice templates are not moving forward into the new earth. We're not here to sacrifice our power to give other beings a false sense of being powerful. We're all powerful. You want to get back into contact with your true power, do the work like everyone else. But the problem is these beings have been doing this for so long, so many life cycles, that a lot of them are so cosmologically in debt. They're indebted. So their way out, they probably would have never found their way out, even with all the help of this ascension cycle. And that would have been a choice that they made every single time, and not only in this lifetime. But that's not your problem. You're not here to sacrifice your power and your truth in order to transfer it onto other assholes who made decisions with their own free will, that is a gift we all have divinely, that made decisions to constantly remain out of order and then sought to find ways to support that shit. No more of that. So Jupiter is speaking on that, and this is also the energy of the return of your resources, the return of your life force, the return of your ability to connect cosmologically with what it is that you connect with in your own energy field. You're a gateway system. I've spoken about this before, and what gates you connect with is completely in alignment with who you are, your energy signature. And therefore, what you're able to pull in is connected with those, with who you are and with those very specific gates. And at every turn, the Matrix tried to block those gates too with their entities. That's why they had you signing contracts. Every time you signed a contract, you were consenting to certain entities controlling your gates on an energetic level. Those contracts, for many of you, don't stand anymore as you've done the work, because they were illegal to begin with. Technically illegal. So this Jupiter in Taurus is also, not for nothing, the Taurus is the Hierophant energy. This is speaking about the inversion that has sustained the systems and the institutions that were benefiting off of sacrificing us. It's speaking about the end to those, the templates that supported that too. These systems, these institutions, these platforms that have been energy harvesting are not moving forward into the new earth. They're not. And everyone had the opportunity to come into alignment in order to do this. So, and that's a whole other conversation, but the Jupiter in Taurus at 12 degrees is speaking about that, and it's also speaking about the balancing of scales in your day-to-day reality. So the things that you lost due to the sacrifice cycles are going to begin to balance out in your reality, because it's the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is the minor arcana card of justice, where things begin to come into alignment in your everyday. Saturn in Pisces at 11 degrees, and then I'm going to close it out. Saturn is, of course, the planet that, for me, is divine grandmother. Saturn is the planet that, when we are working with Saturn's evolved, balanced energies, she is here to help us believe in ourselves again. She is here to help us, by any means necessary, remember who we are, even if it means that we have to learn by suffering. Suffering is a door we open when we fall out of alignment with our truth. It's our soul's way of saying, wake up, fool! What you doing? You're not supposed to suffer. And then come back into alignment. And so the karmic lessons that Saturn dishes out are always going to be in response to where you are in terms of your own individual alignment in your truth. Okay, so Saturn is here to assist you, even if it's harshly. But Saturn is only harsh when you're being harsh on yourself. Everything's just a reflection of what you're doing to self. And Saturn will mirror that back to you, right? But Saturn will also be the planet, once you've aligned, be the one that opens the door to your Jupiter rewards. And it will be clapping. Saturn will be clapping for you like that proud grandmama in the crowd that knows what it took for you to finally graduate high school or whatever it was, like that's that energy. Saturn is the coach who knows how to push his or her team, because they see the potential. They see the potential. And so they know how to get it out in the right way, not through abuse, not through any of that. But a good coach knows how to push you just enough to get you to push yourself in order to access your strength without causing you to fall into states of shame and feeling disempowered. That's Saturnian energy. And at the 11 degree mark, that is a degree of mastery. So Saturn is helping us through this window to reconnect with our emotional mastery, which is everything, because like I said before, your emotional energy is what connects you to your resources. You flow through the waters. You connect with your cosmological truth in those doorways through the waters. Everything is separated and connected. All realms and realities are separated and connected by the waters. Your body is a wonderful example of that, and your body is just a microcosm of macrocosmic truth. Everything in your body, the barriers that separate everything, the membranes, are made up of water and fat and phosphates, phospholipid layers, a lot of them. Okay, so that's the only thing that keeps things from crossing over to the next thing, right? And it's the same on a macrocosmic level. Everything, the barrier to everything is water. This is why you connect intuitively with other realms through your psychic abilities, which is water. You connect through your emotions, you connect through your dreams, you connect through your meditation time, you connect through your subconscious, you connect when the moon is full and it's pulling up the waters within you to reveal things that have been hidden, that you wouldn't know if it hadn't been pulled into the shores of your consciousness. So Saturn is helping us to realign with our emotional mastery, because when you rise into that emotional mastery, that King of Cups energy, that Yeshua energy, then you become a master over all things concerning you. You are able to birth whatever it is you desire, because everything is birthed through the waters. Everything is birthed through your emotions. Everything is birthed through the emotional charge you add to a thought. That's what brings forth things materially. Saturn is helping you to remember how you do that, to remember how to acclimate your own emotional fields to produce what it is you desire, as opposed to constantly producing what it is you don't, because you're not in right frequency and therefore you're not in emotional alignment. Yes. I think I'm going to end there. You've got Uranus, 19 degrees Taurus. This again is speaking about the changes that are occurring materially in the day-to-day based upon the overturning of a lot of shit that have kept systems and institutions harvesting and disempowering you for their survival. That's what Uranus is helping through. This new moon, is helping through its time in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces, where it loves to be. Neptune is putting you back into contact with your divine legacy and your true divine contracts. Neptune is the planet that connects you with the cosmological information emotionally that allows for you to materialize these truths. So Neptune helps you to emotionally, I don't know why I'm touching my head. Neptune helps you to emotionally connect with what you know is real. You've been told it's a lie, you've been told it's imagination, it's a dream, but you sense in your heart it's real. That's Neptune speaking to you. And then Venus helps you to materialize that shit and bring it onto the earth through the waters. Neptune is connected to the waters again. Okay, Neptunian energy is Neptune energy. It connects you to the truth of who you are divinely, your resources, your contracts, your love, and it's part of the reason why the Matrix was under maritime law. Now at 27 degrees, that is a degree of Gemini. Gemini. So this is also like spirit speaking through this. Spirit, like, and I'm not even getting like just spirit speaking. This is like decree energy. It has to be done. This also is to do with the light body activations. Another message was coming through. This is the Ten of Cups in Piscean energy. So Neptune is in the Hanged Man. Neptune is the Hanged Man in the tarot. It is a planet. The Hanged One is the card that represents Neptunian energy, which is why it has a correlation to Pisces. So Neptune is the Hanged One, and then Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces, which is the Hanged One and the High Priestess. And then the 27-degree mark is a degree of Gemini, but the 27-degree mark in terms of minor arcana energies is the Ten of Cups. So again, Neptune is helping you connect with your true legacy. Neptune energy is also helping to undo the quantum entanglement spells of the Matrix for as long as you are on board with following your heart and not connecting with beings and energies based upon need or lack. And then we already spoke about Pluto at 1 degree. And not for nothing, this North Node and Chiron at 17 degrees. I'm not going to go into that energy too much, but that North Node and Chiron in Aries at 17 degrees, that is a degree of Aquarius in astrology. That is a degree of Aquarius. I mean, that is an energy of Aquarius in the tarot. 17 is the star card. So it is a tarot energy of Aquarius, but it is an astrological degree that is under the rulership of Leo. So we got Leo and Aquarius energies speaking through the nodes and Chiron. This is also undoing the wounds that led you to give away your own autonomy to begin with, because the theme of 2024, because we're dealing with the number 8, we are dealing in the tarot with the Strength card and with the Star card. We're dealing with the wounds of Leo that from the previous golden age, which was the age of Leo, where everything began to crumble to begin with. We're dealing with the inception point of the fuckery. So we're dealing with the wounds that opened us up to this to begin with. And so through this new moon in Pisces with the North Node and Chiron, both at the same place, we're dealing with those wounds around our own autonomy based upon the programming we have around needing other beings in order to be in our power in any way, shape, or form. That's not true. You don't need anyone. You get to have, it's always wonderful to align with other souls who are in their own energy self-sufficient, so that you can create from that standpoint, excuse me, without energy harvesting becoming a part of it. And this is what we're learning to do again. And we're learning to do that as we sacrifice those things that would seek to take us out of our power, those relationships, those habits, mindsets, behaviors, before we sacrifice our truth and our autonomy again, because this is an old story that began at the close of the previous golden age, the age of Leo, and we're picking up where that story began because this is what it's produced. You know, through the many eras, this is what it's produced. And the age of Aquarius is saying we're rising into a new golden age. We've got to deal with all of the things that caused our previous dissension. And we're dealing with it very, very, in a very focused manner through the 2024 window. Everything is about confronting the wounds that take us out of our autonomy and therefore out of our true sovereignty and authority, and therefore allow external things to become our master. It's not your design. Okay? So that's what I have for you. I wish you guys all a beautiful new moon in Pisces. Thank you for rolling with me. For all information on how to work with me, if you would like to have a soul recovery session with me, and those sessions are client-led, and they're based upon the fullness of my expertise in tarot astrology, in channeling in general, in reading, but also in the holistic medicinal arts, so naturopathy, herbalism, and all those things, and how these things can help to shift you on all planes. My whole goal is to help people come back into wholeness, and you come back into wholeness when you tackle the energies and the blocks that have prevented you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And we are at a time in ascension where it's very important for us to reconnect with how our bodies actually work, because we're materializing our truths now. It's important to learn how our bodies work and function, and to build proper relationships with them again, because your health is literally your wealth. Your health is very important for your frequency, and therefore what you're able to hold frequentially in terms of the resources you're able to bring forth onto the earth planes. So your health is very connected to your frequency. So yeah, I share that because I feel like many people don't know that I do that also, and I've had a few clients recently who have been very focused on that, and I've loved it. It was a beautiful thing to be able to help them, you know, connect with what it is they need in order to rebalance themselves in that area of their lives. So for tarot astrology reports and readings and divine alignment readings, you can check me out on my website also. I'll give you information on how to book with me. You can go ahead and book yourself a time slot, and then I will get back to you for as long as my guides say it's okay for us to work together. You'll hear from me, and then we can confirm the appointment. Okay, if you'd like to connect with me on Substack as a paying or a non-paying member, you can do that through all the information that I've provided in the description box below and the comment section. And keep your eyes and your ears open for when I post on the community board for the next Q&A that is open to everyone. I might do another one this month, so we'll see. And if I do another one this month, it will be focused more on creating an energetic foundation, an energetic container to support what is coming forth for you with these new earth energies. So that will include things like rituals, health, working with herbs and all that stuff to support your transition, to support your establishment. Okay, so I'm sending you guys so much love and gratitude for who you are. Thanks for hanging out with me again. Happy new moon in Pisces. Until next time, be well.